What is good, my people? My name is Samad. I've made over a quarter of a mil for my clients and generated 10 million views working with creators and coaches, either scaling info products, uh, offers, or e-commerce. Basically, to just give you a little rundown, today is a little training that I made for you guys on how to make effective VSLs. VSLs, if you don't know, are video sales letters, which are a great mechanism for converting people on your landing page. They're basically like cash collecting cow. I've made dozens of VSLs, probably a little bit more than that, and I'll be honest with you, they've generated results. Some crazy ones, such as for a guy we launched for one of my clients, CT, we made him $41,000, and our VSL was able to help generate that, and that was in 48 hours. A little bit about myself. I've worked with, I do content slash info growth. So I've worked with the likes of PSG on a shoot, and we also did real content with them. Recently worked with Habibi Squad for videography for this video, and they got 50K views. Worked with Mason before for videography as well. Worked with Muzz, which is a YC combinator. I think they're roughly worth 40 mil, and we've helped them blow up when it comes to two reels and also shoot a few events. We worked with Flavia, who's a creator with over 300,000 followers throughout all of her social medias, and I think we did a six-figure run rate with 11 million views. And now we're working with Muzz to launch a teaching offer, and so far that's going well, and we were able to optimize her story to the point where we doubled the view amount, and Drake is now viewing her stories. So yeah, that's just a little bit about myself. Enough about me. I want to just break this down on how to basically record a six-figure VSL and the process that I typically use with it. Okay, so the most important thing before you start with the VSL process itself is market research, right? You're trying to figure out like how your ideal customer is thinking, right? So typically the way I kind of like doing market research for VSLs is I typically go to like Reddit forums, see what people are talking about when it comes to that pain point. You can scan on YouTube comment sections where people talk about their problems too, like let's say like you're selling a dating offer, for instance. You can check on like videos where like nice guys are getting rejected and look in the comment section. And you'll find gold there. You'll find people actually expressing like sadness and remorse that they get no biddies. So it's crazy. Even for like supplements where you'll see medical research that came out, you can check in the comment section and you'll see people interested in that and talk about how, oh, I took creatine so it helped me grow with my muscles or stuff like that, you know? So YouTube is a really underrated one, especially the comment section. You can read product reviews of other similar info products in the space. I typically recommend doing that too, but it shows you where the market is heading and what it looks like. But it also gives you an advantage to see what they're doing right or wrong. And in day, you don't have the back end information. You don't know how much they're making. So it could be crushing even with shitty copy, but it is still something that you can see on how they position their offer, which we'll talk about soon. So boom, you'll see this is like the overall goal for market research is pretty simple. It's to give you the animation. The overall goal for market research is pretty simple. It's to give you the ammo to basically find the right emotional trigger for your messaging and your copy, whether it comes to the VSL, even landing page, or overall the copywriting for your brand and funnel. And you can use that to your advantage to get people to purchase, right? If you are selling, like, say, a dating offer, you can trigger the emotion of shame, right? To get people to want to take a step further and actually improve on their dating life, right? For BizOp, something that's super interesting is you can, depending on their awareness stage, you can, let's say, they're aware of other offers in the space and the other services they can do or any other BizOp offer. You can trigger that and be like, hey, look, I know you obviously know that there's drop shipping and agency, but this is the next best thing in 2024. That's typically ripping, you know what I mean? It's not completely shitting on the other offers, but you're just highlighting yours as the best. And that's just a BizOp example. Overall, that's just a little insight on market research. If you have any questions, you just hit me up in the comment section. I can help you with that. Now, offer positioning. When it comes to positioning, it's kind of like everything, right? You have to figure out the perfect angle, like to capture your target audience's attention and like stand out from other offers in the space, right? Typically you do that with understanding who you're selling to, what you're selling, what dream outcome you're also selling, and the pain points that they're going through. Market research helps with that. Again, you gotta have clarity on what you're selling and the specific pain points you're targeting, and that helps you when it comes to selling your offer, right? Whether it's coaching, a course, or a community, or any of those things, front end or back end. Now, for differentiation, it's pretty simple. You have to ask yourself one question: would someone choose me to listen to over any other of my competitors? You know what I mean? There's 101,000, I'm not even gonna say 100,000 ecom gurus. What makes you different, right? How did you scale your brand? How did you scale your students' brands? Like, what makes you different? What is that unique mechanism, right? Which I talk about over here a little bit. That mechanism is that unique way of you doing that skill set for BizOp, all right? Again, I'm just going to talk more perspective of BizOp because I have more experience there, but you get me. You have to figure out what's that unique mechanism, right? What makes you different from your other competitors and what makes your process different. Aside from that, there's emotional triggers, and I'll be honest with you, direct response, one of the main principles when it comes to direct response marketing is you're targeting their pain points. It's just as simple as that. If you're able to effectively know who you're targeting and what makes them want to move and purchase, then you're up, right? Obviously, don't do it in a way where it makes you seem nauseous or downright disrespectful, but enough where you're pushing towards it and they feel that squeezy pain, you know? There's other ways. Urgency and scarcity is a really big one. There's fake and true scarcity and urgency. Sometimes you'll have like time sensitive like bonuses or time sensitive webinars where like the landing page will be up for a certain day and they'll close it, or this is the closing for a high ticket membership. Sometimes some people follow through with it, which is true like urgency and scarcity, which actually makes your product a little bit more valuable in the mind of the buyer. But sometimes there's people that typically use a fake urgency and scarcity. For the 40K day we did with CT, the interesting thing was one of the things we tested out was having a timer on the top of the main landing page. And with that timer, when it ran out, we closed the domain, like we shut down the funnel for a bit, for literally a few hours. And he posted a story saying, hey, since everyone's begging me in my DMs, I'm going to put this up for another 6 hours. You only got 6 hours. And that ran up like a $10,000 like upsell, or that ran up $10,000 in sales, right? So obviously use that to your discretion. It's one of those ones where, end of the day, these are all tools. But you just got to make sure that you know how to position your offer, right? Especially when it comes to BizOp. If you're selling like BizOp, understand that you're selling a dream outcome, and you have to make sure that your dream outcome has a unique mechanism that makes it believable. So you obviously have student results and stuff like that, but you have to go through earning the person's trust. And once you earn their trust, then you have to convince them that this is the next thing that's right for them. If you get that, you're good. So it's the actual nitty gritty of things. This is like the framework for the VSL script outline I've been using. I've been kind of using this for the last 2 years. I've been like changing certain aspects of it, components wise. For me, I like playing around with it depending on the skill sets I grow. Like, especially as a direct response copywriter, a lot of this changed due to the fact that originally I would put a hook, but now I put a claim in the proof section, right? And that's kind of the hook, right? And then like you first hit them with the claim, then the hook and introduction, and that you can use that. And either way, I'm gonna break this down to you step by step and why I've personally used this. And I've recently even used it for a new offer that we're testing out for I won't say which market because I want to make sure it's protected, but an interesting sales offer. And that's all I'll say. Overall, this is how it works. So first you start with proof and claim. So claim and proof section. The whole thing with this is to like entice them with a story and present a new problem with a new solution, but you don't want to fully like give it out right in the beginning. Tease them, right? Tease the education that they're going to learn, right? So look, I'm running X and X agency, and recently one of my students almost burnt out, and because they almost burnt out, we were able to figure out a new mechanism, a new way, a new system into automating their agency to 7 figures. You know what I mean? That's a random claim, but like The whole thing is you make a claim and you have proof to say. So I make that claim, but rather than changing my name to student, I'd be Pauline. My student Pauline did this. You have the proof, you have the claim. That's going to entice them to, like, that's the hook. That's going to get them to actually be interested. And then you hit them with another hook. You can say, hey, my name is X and X, and I run this and that. And you just explain your biz op a little bit, right? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And then you talk about the social proof you've done, so who you worked with, things that elevate your status, that make you seem better, that make you seem like an expert. But the thing that's really nice about this is the section I used for like a webinar with VSL that we did recently. And the thing that was really nice is I played around with storytelling, and we basically went down his whole childhood. He's like, yo, before I educate you on these 3 things that are changing the sales process, I want to let you know where I came from and how I can relate to you. And he really went into his childhood and all that other stuff. So it was fire, super fire. And then the next session is new problems. So he spoke about the fact that he was doing, let's say, e-com. He's not doing e-com, but I'm going to lie for the sake of lying. He was doing e-com, right? And because he was doing e-com, he's like, yo, everybody's telling me to do this, but I don't really think this is the best opportunity for me in 2024. So the new solution was, okay, you see it over here. The new solution was high-ticket sales in DM setting because it has a higher margins, it's easier to do, you don't need a whole team, you don't need capital to start. Like, a new problem, solution. It's pretty simple. So if you're introducing a new problem, make sure you have a new solution with it, or an existing problem with a new solution. And then he talks about who is this for. So talk about the ideal customer that you want to buy your front end product. And it could be a low ticket, it can be a high ticket, depending on whatever you want to sell, even mid ticket. But you want to describe your ideal customer, right? So people that can relate back to you. People typically buy from those they relate to. And I recently got that from a consultant call too, So I highly recommend you use that to your advantage. Aside from that, there's the what is it section. So you actually educate them on like the biz op and the closing aspect of it and why it's worth, like, you know what I mean? It is. You talk about the offer. So basically this is features and benefits, right? And then features and benefits coming back again. No. So what is this section is pretty simple. It just talks about like what it is and explains it to them in a clear way. The offer section targets the pain point and tells them to relate back to you, and you tell them what you can do to get that dream outcome. So you target their pain point, you get them to relate with you, and you're like, hey, look, I'm in your position, or I was in your position. Now I'm doing X, Y, Z. That's why you should listen to me and this offer. And then you talk about the benefits and features, which is features, what they're going to get inside, benefits, what they will get as their dream outcome if they do this. And then highly recommend that you be very careful about this and use bullet points, especially if you're writing the script. Bullet points just make it one line. It's easy to read. And if you're doing it as a, let's say, TSL, right, text sales letter, it makes it easier to read. There's scarcity and urgency, which I described already above, but let me just give you TDLR. That's basically just describe, like, that's getting them enticed by it, right? Say, hey, scarcity, there's a limited amount of, like, volume that you can buy from this. Or urgency, there's a limited amount of time that you can buy this, right? And they obviously, with BizOp, with a lot of service offers, or even info product offers, you have to have a guarantee and a promise. It basically, like, gets them to, like, not be scared of you, you know what I mean? It makes them feel relief and not have the fear of getting scammed. So it makes their life easier, it makes your life easier. And realistically, if you have a great offer, your refund rate would be low. Unless you're running one of those like shitty ClickFunnels, ClickBank offers, Either way, there's the buy now section where you just tell them the CTA and you tell them log on. And the crossroads is very different. So there's a crossroads close section. I really like this. I give them 2 options. Option A is basically like, it sounds so, I don't like this. It basically makes the, like, option A is like this. You make it sound like a scenario that they don't want to be in. Okay, you now know what to do, but you don't have the right education and you can learn through the hard steps. Or option B, you lock in with me and I'll speed run you into this claim, this dream outcome. I really like that. I've seen it in some copy, and it's super nice for them to visualize their dream outcome and the dream results they'll get working with you for coaching, for info product, it's really nice. And then the buy now plus urgency. So like tell them, hey, like purchase now, purchase today, um, right? Or book a call now, book a call today if you're doing like a high ticket booking offer. Either way, you add urgency and say, hey, look, there's a limited amount of time, and yeah, that's pretty much like the script framework. I have like bullet points, but I just freestyled off of this, and we can take that information and run with it. Now, I'm gonna leave you with this: split testing your VSL. So split testing your VSL is essential because even with the small improvements, it can lead to increases in conversion of the revenue. So let's say you have a 3% like conversion rate. Changing one variable can take that 3 to 7 to 10, right? And let's say like your conversion rate goes from 10 to 20 on a traffic of 100,000, which my qualms is if you're getting 20% conversion rates at 100,000 or even higher, like that's insane. Depending on the offer and how high tech it is. But per year, that can be an additional 10,000 like customers, and that turns into like fat revenue, insane revenue. That being said, you got to be careful. My personal rule, and a lot of marketers as well, is if you're split testing, you test one thing at a time. That way, you understand what is that one thing we changed that led to more results. You know. So some of the things you can look for split testing is easy. VSL speed, you can change the speed, you can change the overlay button, you can change the size of the VSL, so like you can customize that and go high level or ClickFunnels. You can add timers, trust triggers, basically like icons that say 100%, you've probably seen this 100% refund, and it's like a stamp, a golden stamp, right? Social proof, you can add testimonies, stuff like that, a little bit more. You can change the font styles, the editing of it. You can have an exit pop-up. That's something that's super great sometimes. And yeah, like those are some of the different things that you can test out with. But yeah, that's pretty much my whole guide on how to record VSLs. If you have any questions, let me know. You know, I hope you run it up, whatever you're doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Appreciate you. Subscribe if you found this valuable.